I was wondering if you can take anything from preseason stats. Like, for example, over the last two games, you guys are having opponents shoot a lot of their shots either at the rim or from three. Is that a point of concern? Can you take anything from numbers in the preseason?
Well, we haven't done a great job keeping the ball out of the paint. That I'm really focused on and aware of. Not as concerned with the 3-point attempts, but definitely concerned with the ball getting into the paint.
Hey, Stan, Scott Kushner from NOLA.com. I was just curious if you had an update on Wenyen Gabriel at this point.
No, he hasn't done anything still.
And just one more thing is when I think Zion's position has kind of been bandied about a little bit. What kind of look has he given at the 5? Has that come up much? Has that been something that you guys have seen often? And what do you sort of like about that look?
Well, I worked for a guy once in college coaching when kids were really concerned about position. And I remember going recruiting with him once, a guy named Nick McCarchuk. And the kid said, "Do you see me as a 3 or a 4?" And Nick said, "Son, there's 2 positions, on the court and on the bench. Which one would you like to play?" And I look at Zion pretty much the same way. Like, I want him on the court. Whether he plays the 4, the 5, the 1, the 2, the 3, the 7, the 8, I don't really care. We just need him on the court, and we'll be able to work around that based on who else is on the court with him.
Hey, Coach, this is Ollie with the Bird Rights. I apologize in advance of this question, but since we have no access to practices, I'm curious, since the last preseason game, have you noticed either any player make any kind of improvements or something that stood out about them, or maybe the team as a whole, in whether they picked up a concept or shown improvement in a certain area?
Well, I do think what we talked about earlier, Ollie, is we have really focused defensively on keeping the ball out of the paint, and I think they have worked harder on that. We've also worked harder on when we're, protecting the paint to close harder. I think their focus on those things has been good, and I think our offensive organization has been a lot better. So this is a hardworking group that focuses in very, very well. So when you give them something to focus on, it will generally improve fairly quickly.
So, Coach, this is Will Guillory with The Athletic. This is much different than the ones you dealt with in the past. But just what do you think's different about this group compared to some of the teams you've coached in the past, after you've gone through that training camp process?
Well, I think a couple of things. I think number one, this is a young group, a very young group. And for a young group, a lot of these guys who are already on their third NBA coach, so they've had to adapt to a lot of change in a short amount of time in their career, which in the long run I think will help them. But in the short term, it's not easy for players. You play in one system, you get traded. Now you play in another system, and now a new coach comes in, and so I think being able to adapt is a great thing, and in the long run, it'll help them. But in the short term, it's tough. And so, in your teaching, you're sort of caught in between moving fast because the season starts tomorrow and trying to slow down and let them get a grasp of what's going on.
Hi, Coach. It's Jen Hale from Fox Sports New Orleans. How difficult has this COVID situation been? And do you think that the Pelicans, being one of the few teams that will have some fans at home, will that be a boost to help?
The COVID stuff's been tough on everybody in the league, I think. I mean, you've got to test every day. So even if you have an off day, you got to come in and test. So there's really no off days. The teams who don't play Christmas Day, they're all going to have to come in and test. The people who work for the Pelicans, even though we're going to be out of town, they've got to come in and test. So it's a huge part of your life. It's always hanging over you. But that's every team in the league. As far as how much of a boost you get from the fans, I really don't know, because it's not like the building's going to be loud or that there's going to be a lot of people there. I think the players are happy that, their families and people like that who live here in New Orleans can come to the games. But as far as a home court advantage from having a few hundred fans, that I'm not so sure of.
Hey, Stan, Rod Walker with NOLA.com. And I probably should ask you this tomorrow, but I'll ask you today. But just how fired up are you about your first game back in a while and your first real game? And how does it compare to some of your other first games?
Yeah, Rod. I mean, you always get excited. First, I don't think there's any doubt about that. I don't know that this is really any different from any other year, but the start of the year is always exciting for players and coaches, and you want to get it going. So I'm glad we're there.
All right. Thank you very much, Coach.
All right, guys.
What's up, Zion? It's Will Guillory from The Athletic. I know you've talked a lot about wanting to feel like yourself again this year and how important that's going to be. But just comparing last year to this year, are there any parts of your game where you feel more comfortable with just what you're doing than where you were last year?
Yeah, I definitely feel more comfortable this year than I did last year. Last year, I feel like there was a lag, and pretty much always trying to recover from the surgery and trying to get back into shape and also adjusting to the NBA. So there was a lot I had to figure out last year, but this year, clean slate, and I'm ready to go.
Hi, Zion. It's Jen. I know it was just preseason, but you still finished as the leading points getter for that period. What are your personal goals for yourself? What do you want to see out of yourself, your expectations this season?
Personally, my expectations are, to help my team get into the playoffs and make a good run, and while also contributing to that. So that's my personal goal, because I feel like when your team does well, then people notice you. So, I want to be remembered as one of those guys.
Hey, Zion, it's Andrew from ESPN. Going back to a little bit on Will's question, how, I guess, more excited are you this year to it seems like to have the ball in your hands a little bit more, whether it's having a guard come set a pick for you or even another, or if Steven Adams does. How excited are you for that part of your game to kind of develop?
I'm very excited for it. It adds another level that the defense has to try to figure out, and it creates more movement for me.
Zion, Scott Kushner with NOLA.com. The way Lonzo has kind of played this preseason, it does seem like he's found another gear. He mentioned that he was able to kind of get a whole offseason that he was never able to have before because of injury. What have you noticed about him, and how much improvement have you seen from him just in the year?
I mean, you can just see it in him, like in practice and in the preseason. Like, he's just a lot more comfortable. You can tell that, like you said, he had an offseason to fine-tune the things he wanted to work on. And, I mean, I think just him being comfortable, like a lot more comfortable, really just his game really increased from that.
How much of that connection, of that full court kind of thing, do you guys work on that, or is that kind of just something that he has the vision for it and you know how to get there?
That's honestly just basketball IQ. Me knowing that he can make that pass 99 out of 100 times. The one time he can't make it, probably the ball slipped or something but it's really not on him. And him knowing that I can go get it, and us just trusting each other. That's all it is.
Hey, Zion, this is Ollie with the Bird Rights. I'm sure you're raring to go for the first game tomorrow. No more practices, those long ones with Stan Van Gundy. But honestly, how ready do you guys feel as a team in the first game? Because starting off tomorrow, you're going to play 9 games every other day, for the next couple of weeks or so. So do you guys feel honestly really prepared or somewhat prepared? How do you guys feel about the start of the season tomorrow?
It's like you said, it's a new season. We're very excited. Are we where we want to be right now? Obviously not, because we just come together. But I think that's good for us. That means we have a lot of room for improvement. And, as the season goes on, we're going to figure each other out. But as we're figuring each other out, we get those wins that we need. So all I can say is that, we're going to play hard, work hard, and we'll figure it out.
So Zion, this is Will again. Speaking of those long practices, I know a lot of the focus has been on defense. Just what kind of strides do you feel like you've made as an individual defender and just improving that part of your game?
Just running through passing lanes, getting deflections, and making the right reads and rotations. Because it's the NBA. It's a lot different from college with the rotations. So I had adjusted that last year, but this year I feel like I got more comfortable with it. So, hopefully I get out there and I do the right thing.
All right. Thank you, Z. Appreciate it.
No problem. Have a great day.
All right, everybody. We'll get started here with Blood. Will Guillory, you want to start us off?
What's up, Eric? This is Will from The Athletic. Just how are you feeling about the progression you guys have made on the defensive end? I know that's a really important part of your game, something Stan stresses every day. Just where do you feel like you guys are right now?
I think we, pretty good. I think guys takes being in shape, helping one another, talking. I think we're getting better every day.
Hey, Eric, this is Shamed Dua from Bourbon Street Shots. Coach Stan had mentioned the other day, part of bringing you back up to speed after missing some time was you having to learn 2 different positions, so to speak. What's kind of gone into that?
It's tough, man. It's tough, but, I think I'm getting the hang of it now. Learning to play, point and the shooting guard, because sometimes you're going to have to mix it up, play small ball a little bit. And obviously me and Zoe, but it's coming along pretty good. I think I'm learning to play, getting them down, pack, on all 5 positions. So it's going pretty easy. It's easy enough, actually.
It's Andrew from ESPN. Kind of along those same lines, how difficult was it for you to miss that time when it's already a shortened training camp and then try to have to get back and get back into the flow of things?
Oh, it wasn't that bad at all. Obviously I'm involved in the game, so I kind of know what to expect, moving forward. So it's all about, timing, knowing everybody's game, knowing where everybody likes the ball, knowing I can be aggressive. So it's been fun, man, playing with these guys.
It's Scott Kushner from NOLA.com. I know you haven't played a lot of games with them or even a lot of practices, but you've been around some really talented players in your career. How unique is Zion from that perspective? It's not just like your normal basketball talent. It seems like it's in a very unique shape and form. What's that kind of been like experiencing that over the last couple of weeks?
Man, it's been exciting to watch, practice. I watched, a couple of preseason games, played with him in one of them. But, it's been exciting. He definitely up there, in my group of talented guys that I played with. He's at the top, at the top of the list, probably not at the top, but up there. Man, he might get up there. He's gonna get better every day. The way the kid works. So it's unbelievable to watch. His work ethic and how he put, time into trying to be great.
Hey, Bled, it's Jen Hale from Fox Sports New Orleans. You're a veteran. You've seen so many ups and downs throughout your career. How would you describe this COVID year and experience? And what are your expectations kind of going into the season, looking at the unknown with this thing?
Man, it's been one that I tell my kids about. A year like this, I never couldn't imagine. I never seen. It's definitely one for the books. But, it's getting better, and as far as progressing during the season, I think the league did a great job of, keeping it, tight as far as the bubble. And now they trying to, working into not a full game season, but a 70-some game season. So I think it's going to go pretty good as far as, basketball wise, because I think the league do a great job of, cutting down on those numbers.
All right. Thank you very much, Bled.
Thank you.
Thanks, Eric.
Thank you, Chris.